What's going on? Bowman 1951 here. One of my most recent videos, I was complaining about how I'm just like sucked into modern cards only these days, and I've just kind of put aside any vintage collecting. Well, we're about to change that because I picked up three new Bowman 1951 set pieces as I near, I think, a little over now, a third of the way through. I want to pick this up one more time on the pace and get a bunch of the commons through. So these three are going to be commons, but we've got a lot of beautiful eye candy out there, from Yogi Berra to Robin Roberts and then Johnny Sane in the middle. I also don't just like to show off a card, but to talk a little bit about the person and the history behind what they did in their career and life. So let's get right into that first card out there, and we'll take a look. All right, so the rules of my set, they all need to be PSA graded, since I'm going to just have that continue. If I ever pull any from SGC or whatever, I may just cross those over. I don't know what I'm going to do there, but I've only focused on PSA. And I've got a fun little story about how I came about these three cards, which to me are effectively free. And we'll go into that in a little bit. But the first one here is going to be Lou Brissy, who started out with the Philadelphia Athletics, caught the attention of Connie Mack at the age of 16. And beautifully centered, excellent to mint 6 here. Pull that back just a little bit. So a little bit more about Mr. Lou here. He was a World War II veteran, so thank you for your service, Mr. Brissy. He found himself in heavy fighting in Italy in 1944 with the 88th Infantry Division. His unit suffered an artillery barrage and a shell exploded, which shattered his left tibia and shin bone in 30 pieces. Went to the medic tent and they told him, "You need your leg amputated, most likely." And he was like, no, I'm a ball player. Please don't do this. So even though it jeopardized his life, he made a full comeback and was able to come back and pitch in the major leagues for a little bit. He actually had a long road ahead of him and ended up with a metal plate in his leg and spent about three and a half years in the minors and was eventually called up in 1948. His first start was against the Boston Red Sox. And then with the A's in 1948 was one of his best seasons. He went 14-10, and then the following season ended up 16-11 for the Philadelphia Athletics. Here he was on the Indians, but I've been talking a lot about his early career with the Philadelphia A's. So that's Lou Brissy, number 155 from the 1951 Bowman set. I just want to mention a few other things here for Mr. Brissy. He left this earth in 2013, but before then he did a lot of speeches for Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. He was in constant pain towards the end of his life in regards to those 30 or so surgeries he had on his leg from World War II. So again, Lou Brissy here. You know what? They do show him in an A's hat, but then I guess he was traded to the Indians. Wanted to point that out too. All right, on to card number 2. This is going to be John Henry Kramer, went by Jack. And this is a New York Yankees card from 1951. However, another horizontal pitcher card. And we've got an excellent to mint 6 again, card number 200. That's the first time I even noticed that. Love the even numbered cards. We've got another World War II vet here. He served with the U.S. Navy Seabees during World War II. And after his discharge, he rejoined the Browns and was able to start out then mid-season with the team, but ended up getting demoted to the Toledo Mudhens at the minor league level. From 1945 through 1947, he had a pretty decent career. Was on the All-Star team 3 times, and he averaged 11 wins per year as a pitcher. Nothing spectacular in terms of his overall statistics on his career, and he ended up retiring in 1951. So this was one of his last cards for the Yankees again, which is bizarre. There's no pinstripes there. That almost looks like the Giants, doesn't it? And we've also obviously got him. They took this picture or whatever, and then they turned it into a hand-drawn lithograph. But this was certainly probably done in the Arizona or Florida leagues back in February or March of that year. And Jack Kramer passed away in 1995. And the last card out of this bunch, he has certainly the most quote-unquote interesting short end to his life. We'll talk about that. This is going to be Howie Fox, and you can see how fairly off-center there that is on the back. But let's take a look. We've got the highest grade here. This is a near mint 7. Beautiful dead centering there on the front, and the card was in excellent shape overall. Let's talk about how I ended up with these 3 cards. So Cam Newton recently joined the New England Patriots, and I had stocked up on his rookie cards months before, thinking I had heard lots of rumors that he was probably coming to the Patriots or another big team around the league. So I figured there was going to be a jump and a spike in his cards. And I ended up selling off a little over $200 worth in under 4 hours the night he was traded. And those cards probably cost me $10 to $15 in total, and they spiked like crazy. So I had a bunch of money to use up, just decided to go out and add on to my set here through ComC and got those shipped, and they arrived earlier this week. So just a nice little story there in terms of how I love the economy of baseball cards. I was able to trade in something I didn't even really want. I ended up bringing a couple home, by the way. I sold off the rest of those cams. Didn't need 10 copies of it, so I sold the rest and ended up picking these up, including a near mint 7 1951 card, which is incredible. But yes, back to Howie. He was a pitcher for Cincinnati Reds, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Baltimore Orioles over 9 seasons from 1944 to 1954. You can see there he won 11 games and lost 8 in the 1950 season. According to his Wikipedia page, he was a hard thrower with a sharp curveball. He debuted in the majors in 1944 with the Reds, playing 7 years with them before joining the Philadelphia Phillies in 1952. So this would have been his last season here in 1951 with the Reds. He did not have the most stellar career. Had a combined record of 43 and 72, 342 strikeouts, and a 4.33 career ERA. So let's talk about Howie Fox's untimely death in 1955. So he ended up purchasing a tavern in San Antonio, Texas. And that October, I guess right after the season was over, he was attempting to kick 3 men out of his bar, and a struggle ensued in front of his business. So Fox was unfortunately stabbed 3 times, and he died as he was trying to crawl back to the door of the establishment. A couple San Antonio College students were ended up charged with his murder. So I don't know what happened to them afterwards, but poor Howie Fox lost his life just trying to defend his own business back in 1955. Got a beautiful example here. Card number 180, near mint 7 from the 1951 Bowman set. So that felt really good to get back on track. It had been months since I purchased any 51 Bowmans, and it's not going to take a couple months in between cards again. So what I need to do, I've got some orders finally coming back from PSA. The grades are popping. I'm going to be selling off a bunch of the higher end stuff that, you know, got a great markup over the 9 months it was out for grading, and turn around and grab some more Bowman, because that's what we need to do. I want to hit the halfway point, I think, by the end of 2020. That's a good pace. Only need about 40 to 50 more cards, I think, to get to that point. So thanks as always for watching. If you like what you see here, especially with some vintage 1951 Bowman cards, hit that like and subscribe button for more future videos regarding some little history on these wonderful players from the 40s and 50s. We will see you at the next video. Bowman 1951 out.